Hi, Matthew and Matthew. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are
Hi,
you?
Rachel. How you doing?
Doing great. So I'm just gonna call you guys Matthews throughout this
Sure.
entire thing when
It
I
makes complete sense.
yeah, just Matthew. But to start, for Matthew Good, when you are playing a man that is, I think, very complicated for my generation, which feels weird because C.S. Lewis was so beloved, especially with millennials, because we had the books and then the movies of the Chronicles of Narnia, and we have a weird relationship with just religion in general in the millennial era. And so
Yeah.
we look to C.S. Lewis in this weird kind of way. How do you kind of approach a character like that is so complicated in this generation, but he in this film is complicated anyway because he is going through something as a man, but we have a warped sense in the modern era looking at him.
I've done it a bit, when I play a real character. Sometimes actually, it's a real gift because especially when they're as famous as Lewis was, and especially when there's as much, with things like Surprised by Joy, like he wrote that book, and it talks about his early life and the childhood traumas and all this kind of stuff. So you just get to slowly pick a person apart and then put them back together again with all of the information, and it's an exercise in imagination as much as anything else as well. And I've been to some of the places in his life, and so I had an idea, and then the screenplay is just a beautiful thing, and it just allowed us to have this. I don't know. You never know how it's going to go down. I met Tony, and we got on really well, and then I think we had a natural chemistry. But I'll let Matthew Brown talk about that because I just get a bit embarrassed about it. But there we go.
And then for you, Matthew Brown, when you there are so many aspects of kind of this story that are so fascinating. I do love, we get a brief look at Tolkien, we get a brief look into kind of Freud's life outside of this meeting of Freud and Lewis, and you are picking and choosing when to show those moments as well as the session with between these two minds. How did you kind of navigate what to show and what not to show outside of just this session? Because I wish we got more of that Tolkien meeting in the woods because I was obsessed with that little scene. And I was like, I want to go back. I want to go back. And then we didn't. And I was like,
Good. I'm glad. I mean, I like it when people want more of something because it means something was working. So that's good. But
Yeah.
I think that for me, there's these sort of two therapy sessions that are going on for each of them. So it's sort of about like getting at the core of what's driving both of these people. It's about the human experience that so that all the other conversation can have some more meaning, and then we can learn more about who these humans are that are struggling with this big question. So for Lewis, it was, PTSD really was a huge aspect of his life, and I think Matthew portrayed the aspects of that brilliantly. And then for Freud, he had incredible loss in his life with the loss of his daughter, and then the complicated relationship he had with Anna. So I tried to make those two stories at the forefront. And the PTSD for Lewis, I think it finds its way into his relationship with Janie Moore too, because he's replacing his mother, who died at a young age for him, um, and the result of the war, it's his best friend's mother. It comes straight out of the war. So that's how I tried to choose them. Anything that would move the story forward in terms of giving us more about what their real personal struggle was. Yeah.
yeah, thank you guys so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait for people to get to see the movie.
Thank you very much. It's really sweet.
Awesome. Thank you guys.